Hey everyone, this is my review of the Odyssey LCD-2F. I've owned it for about half a year, and I think it's about time I gave my impressions and review of it. In this review, I'm going to try to go over a few things and try to keep it as concise and informative as possible. I'm sure you guys know Z reviews and his more long rambling style of videos, and I really enjoy them, but I know a lot of people wish they're a little bit shorter and more targeted, so that's what I'm going to try to do. And also in this review, I'm not going to directly compare the LCD-2 to any other headphones. I have a number of headphones I like to compare it to, but I think I'm going to do that in a separate video, just because when I'm looking for comparisons, I don't really enjoy skipping through full reviews to try to really compare the headphone to other headphones. I'd prefer to watch a video that's purely comparison, so I'm going to make one of those with the LCD-2 a little bit later. And the final note before we start the review is this is my first YouTube video ever. Right now, as I'm sure is pretty clear. And I don't have a great setup, so you're going to have to forgive mic quality a little bit and my webcam. But I would love to hear from you if you'd give me your feedback about what I can do to make the videos more enjoyable for you to watch. The setup's a little lackluster, but if there are things outside of the setup that I can do to make it more interesting or engaging for you, I would love to hear what you have to say, no matter how critical it is. Okay, so let's just jump right into the review. So for the build, this is the LCD-2F, so it has the phasers inside to be waveguides for the sound and make the sound overlap less. So I haven't actually been able to listen to the original LCD-2 or the LCD-2C yet. Neither of those headphones have phasers, and they're supposed to have a little bit more bass, but are not quite as detailed as the LCD-2Fs, and I'm someone who values detail, so that's why I purchased these. So the LCD-2F that I have is in bamboo. I really like bamboo personally, but they also come in like rosewood and aluminum and I think a couple other things. I bought the LCD-2 in bamboo because I read up on it a little bit and it seemed like it would be a little bit less likely to crack. I haven't had any issues with the wood at all in the headphone. They feel really solid. The ear pads are massive and cushy, really nice. They're angled, so it's better for your ears and the sound. And the flaws of this build are, I think, is in the headband mostly, because they're very heavy headphone, and so there's not much padding to make up for that, which is a little unfortunate. At $1,000 new, you figured they'd try to make it really comfortable. A little bit more head padding is fine because the ear cups are really comfortable, and what I do to help with the comfort is to make the headband a little bit bigger than I think I would for other headphones, so there's more weight on the ears and less on the top of the head. Another issue with the build that I have is on the headband. I don't know if you can see it, there's a groove there that's been made by the slider. So what happens is when the slider is up for like a smaller head and then you pull it out, it goes right into the leather headband and makes that groove there, which I wish it didn't occur that way. It's not like it's going to actually damage the headphone, but it just mars it a little bit and it shows it's been used. Another thing about the build is, so these connectors are different from the original. The original ones, I think, tended to crack. And I haven't had any issues with these connectors other than this one seems to be a little bit too small. So it's kind of a pain to get a mini XLR in and out of there. You have to wiggle it a little bit. But other than that, it's fine. It hasn't affected the sound anyway. So I've already gone over a little bit of comfort, but I'm going to quickly review. So a lot of people say they aren't comfortable headphones, and I would have to agree with that. But I feel like the comfort can be helped significantly by doing what I said before, which was making the headphone sliders a little bit further down than you might otherwise on other headphones, which would put more pressure with these really cushy ear pads rather than on the top of your head. I can wear these personally for hours without any issue, and I wear glasses that have pretty thick frames, so a lot of headphones aren't that comfortable on me. But with how thick these pads are and how cushy they are, I have not had any issue wearing glasses with these. Although I feel some people could find the weight to be a little bit too much, I personally don't mind it. So the last thing I'm going to mention about the comfort, which I guess is also part of the build. So I don't know if you can tell on the video, but one of the pads is actually smaller than the other one. It's this pad right here is a little bit smaller, and you can't feel that it's smaller, like on the exterior of the pad, but what you can feel is the hard, sharp phasers on the inside of the headphone. So inside of here, there are ridges, which are the phasers that guide the sound, right? And they're hard, and my ear occasionally brushes against them, even though these are like really deep ear cups that fit 4 fingers. They condense so much because they're how cushy they are that my ear sometimes scrapes the inside of the phaser and it hurts. But it doesn't always happen, and I haven't minded it too much. But it's just something to keep in mind. I feel like if I got a slightly defective pad, like if the pad had a little bit more stuffing in it, we'd be all good. And I've been thinking about getting some aftermarket pads for them, but I haven't had that much of an issue with it yet to really want to do that. Okay, so on to sound. So I really wish I could compare the LCD-2F to the original LCD-2 and the LCD-2C, but I haven't had the opportunity to listen to all the variations of the LCD-2. I did a little bit of research, and pretty much what I found, as I said before, was that these were supposed to be a little bit more detailed with slightly less bass. Honestly, I think that's fine, because these have enough bass already. They go deep, and they're really, before I got into hi-hat headphones, I had no idea how like full headphones could sound, but these just like fill the air with their sound, and it's deep, and it feels like it hits everything. One thing I would like to say is that these headphones do not cater to people who love really forward highs and really forward mids. Their emphasis is definitely on the low end of headphones, and I feel like it does that very well. Very detailed. I really enjoy these headphones, but if you're someone who really likes mids or highs, then these tend to be a little bit recessed, and they don't have a sparkle that you can find in other headphones. For this reason, I feel like these are actually, it can be a positive if you have any issues with high, like sibilance. If your high is sensitive, then these I feel like are perfect for you. I don't know if it's even possible to produce a sibilant sound on these headphones. They roll off that much in the highs. But because of this, I bought a Sennheiser 6XX, which is supposed to be better and is better in the mids and high regions. So when I want to listen to mids and highs, I can switch to that, and when I want to have a full sound that fills the air, then I'll switch back to these. Let's see. Anything else I want to add? Okay, so because these aren't piercing at all in the highs and the mids, they really just make you want to turn up the music as loud as it could possibly go, because it's not abrasive to your ears. It just gets more warm and full, and it's just so enjoyable to listen to. And they're fast too because they're planar magnetics. So like, if I have a song that has like static in it, like a static effect, it really feels like I can hear every individual pop of static, and it's awesome, and something I hadn't experienced before I had a high quality planar magnetic headphone. Detail wise, they're fantastic in the lows, but again, with like the mids and highs, they don't quite have the same amount of detail as the 1990s, which I'm wearing now, or they're probably the same amount of details as 6XX in the highs and mids, but they definitely aren't as forward or emphasized. Really, that's all I have to say about sound. So I would 100% recommend these to someone who is high sensitive, wants really full bass, doesn't mind that the mids and the highs are a little bit recessed. I personally love these. I'm very happy with my purchase. But if you're like a big fan of the HD800, I don't know if you would like these because they definitely don't have the highs of those. One last thing I'd like to mention is, as you can probably see, this is an aftermarket cable. The reason I bought this was because the stock cable, which is right here, it's got this really interesting design. Ooh, let's get that out of there. It's got this really interesting design where it's like braided. But what it also does is it tangles a little bit, and it's also a lot longer. This is a lot shorter. This is only like 4 feet. Something like that, 3 feet maybe. I think probably 4 though. And I almost exclusively use this cable over the stock cable, but I used the stock cable for a couple months before I bought this. The LCD-2 excels in rock, pop, and anything that wants to emphasize the lower range of instruments and sound. It's very fast, keeps up with like metal, anything like that. If that's your thing, these are perfect. Probably not for people who are really into classical. Female vocals tend to be a little bit not as enjoyable. Like, they're still great on here, but they are better, I think, on the 6XX. And even the 1990s. And I think they're in like the Lears. There are other options if you really want to get the most out of female vocals or highs. And I feel like that's really it. So I'm going to wrap up my review here. Again, this is my first YouTube video and my first review. And I'm totally open to any feedback you have about how I can improve these videos going forward. I have the LCD-2 to review. I have the 1990s to review. I have the Audio GD R2R. I have the Jotunheim, the balanced DAC in that one. I have the 6XX. I have the Lears I can review. I have 400Is I can review. I've got the THX00s. I have some monitors that I could review, like the JBL 305s. Like, I have things to review. So if I could do something and you could help me make those reviews better, I would love to do that, and I would love to hear what you have to say. Thank you for watching, and see you in the next one.